Now, the Los Angeles Clippers kind of flew under the radar at the 2023 NBA trade deadline due to some other teams making some blockbuster deals. We saw the Phoenix Suns go out and acquire Kevin Durant, and we also seen the Los Angeles Lakers finally trade Russell Westbrook, and in return they got D'Angelo Russell and some other quality role players. So I feel like with those two deals going on, that's all everyone was talking about, and no one really realized what the Los Angeles Clippers did. And I think the moves that they made at the NBA trade deadline took their team to a whole nother level. And to summarize what the Clippers did at the NBA trade deadline, they took Luke Kennard, Reggie Jackson, and John Wall, and I think they also used a pick swap as well, and they turned those guys into Mason Plumley, Eric Gordon, and Bones Hyland. And I think this move right here makes the Los Angeles Clippers a lot better. And I say these additions and this move at the NBA trade deadline makes the Clippers so much better because now they have a starting five in their second unit, and we seen it in their most previous game against the Golden State Warriors. We saw them, their bench unit was Bones Hyland at the 1, Eric Gordon at the 2, Norman Powell at the 3, Nicholas Batum at the 4, and Mason Plumlee at the 5. Now I think that's a damn good second unit to have, and we saw it in that game. Whenever the starters would leave for both teams, the game would be kind of close. They put the bench in and they start to pull away. Bones Hyland made some great plays. Norman Powell, who's been special all year long, he's definitely in that 6th man of the year conversation. Mason Plumlee, he made some great plays. The whole bench unit did a great job, and they brought that energy in for the Los Angeles Clippers. Now, when we look at this trade, my favorite addition for this team has to be Mason Plumlee. And I know for about the last week or the last 2 weeks, we heard Kawhi saying that that he would like the Clippers to bring in a point guard, and that's all we've been hearing about the Clippers is point guard, point guard, point guard. But I think as much as they needed a point guard, they also needed a backup center. Now, there's been a bunch of times this season where the second unit of the Los Angeles Clippers, where they would simply just get outworked on the offensive glass and the defensive glass because they ran a small ball lineup in their second unit. And they do have another center on this team, Brandon Boston Jr., but for whatever reasons, Ty Lue feels like he isn't ready to make the rotation. So they went out and got Mason Plumlee. And I think whenever you have a center as good as Mason Plumlee, because I feel like there's a bunch of teams that he could start on, and over like the last month or so, he was playing some great basketball for the Charlotte Hornets. So I think this was a great move by the front office of the Clippers to go out and get him, and he can bring that energy in with the second unit. And yeah, like I said, he's not no scrub. He can rebound the basketball. He's great at setting screens, rolling to the rim, and the most underrated part of Mason Plumlee's game, and I know you guys have probably been hearing this a lot this season, but his playmaking, he is getting great at making passes. He's also getting trusted more with being the big man in dribble handoff situations, so he can get the ball at the top of the key. He can take one dribble without turning it over, get into that dribble handoff, and then it turns into a great pick and roll situation because he can catch that ball on the short roll and he can make a play. He can make he can make the right pass. He can put the ball on the floor and get to the rim. So Mason Plumlee, great addition for the Los Angeles Clippers, and he's also tall and has great length, so he can protect the rim. I love this pickup for the Clippers, and it's probably my favorite addition out of the 3 guys that they brought in. Before we go on to the next addition for the Los Angeles Clippers, in his Clipper debut, Mason Plumlee had 8 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists, and he played 17 minutes, so a pretty strong debut for Mason Plumlee. And another guy that we're going to be talking about is Eric Gordon, and I think this was another solid pickup for the Los Angeles Clippers. And I think we all saw this coming with EG, not him being traded to the Clippers, but him being traded by the NBA trade deadline. He made it very clear that he had no interest playing with the Houston Rockets while they're going through that rebuilding phrase, and it seems like none of the NBA veterans wanted to be a part of that. We seen what happened with John Wall in that interview. He talked about how much he hated playing with the Houston Rockets, and I think it's kind of funny, but also kind of harsh that the Clippers, they probably saw that interview and they still traded him back to the Houston Rockets. They ended up waiving him, and we might not see John Wall play anymore. We might not see him play any more NBA basketball ever again. So that's why it's kind of sad and it's kind of harsh. And when I watched the Clippers this year, John Wall, he didn't look that bad. He didn't look like he should be out of the NBA bad. But to get back on track, Eric Gordon, he was playing pretty solid with the Houston Rockets. I think he was putting up around 13, 14 points per game, and he was still shooting the three ball at a very high clip. And in his Clippers debut, he went out, he dropped 7 points. He also had 3 rebounds, 3 assists. He went 2 of 7 from the field, but he knocked down 2 out of his three-point shots. So a pretty solid outing for Eric Gordon, and I think this is another solid pickup for the Los Angeles Clippers because this is a team that's trying to win a championship. They also have history with Eric Gordon. I believe this is the team that he was drafted to, and also he has playoff experience. He's been to the Western Conference Finals with James Harden. He took the KD Golden State Warriors to 7 games. So this is a guy that can definitely help them out in that second unit. He can score from all 3 levels. And then also what I love about him is that he can play with or without the basketball in his hands. He's a great catch and shoot shooter. He can also operate the pick and roll, get to the mid-range area, and get to the rim. So I think Eric Gordon was a very solid pickup for the Clippers. They're going to be able to play him in some big-time moments, and he's going to be able to knock down some big-time shots. So I love this pickup. Okay, last but certainly not least, we have Bones Hyland, or as some like to call him, Busy Bones. He had his season debut with the Clippers against the Golden State Warriors, and he put up 6 points and 4 rebounds, and he didn't turn the ball over once. So a pretty solid outing for him. And I think Bones Hyland, he's quickly going to become a fan favorite with the Los Angeles Clippers. I believe he was a fan favorite with the Denver Nuggets because he is just so fun to watch and he's very exciting. There's a bunch of reasons for the Los Angeles Clippers to like this move. Bones Hyland, he's very young, so they're adding some youth to this team. Just 20 years old, and he has a tremendous talent. He has some upside to him because he can do just about everything on the offensive side of the ball. The best part of his game is probably his three-point shooting. He has range on his three-point shot. He can hit it off the catch and off the dribble. He's a great ball handler, rarely ever turns the ball over. He can get to the mid-range, and he can also finish around the rim. And another reason I like this move for the Los Angeles Clippers is that they're going to be able to go to him during the postseason because he already has some playoff experience with the Denver Nuggets. Last year during their postseason run, he was notching 17 minutes per night. So I think Bones Hyland, he's going to be ready down the stretch of this season and in the postseason, when the Los Angeles Clippers need him. So I think these 3 guys right here, it takes the Los Angeles Clippers to a different level because like I said earlier in the video, it's like they have a starting 5 coming off their bench, and whenever you have that type of second unit, it makes you very hard to beat, and it's kind of unfair, and you get to let your guys rest a little bit more down the stretch of the season. So this is very important for a team like the Los Angeles Clippers because we've seen injuries derail them so many times over these years, and it's really the only thing that can stop this team in my opinion. But now we have this bench unit, and you still have Kawhi and PG, you still have Marcus Morris. Terrence Mann is continuously evolving right in front of our very eyes. I think the Clippers are a very, very solid team in the Western Conference, and I think they're definitely going to be competing for a championship this season. Now that's going to be it for this video. If you guys enjoyed, please leave a like, comment down below if you agree or disagree, and then subscribe for more weekly content. We do this all the time, man. And that's curtains. My bad, man. I'm still getting over a cold, so still got a little bit of a cough, but that's curtains.